Hi, my name is Mitch Burridge from the University of Central Queensland. This is my presentation for ESSC 12003 Exercise Psychology, incorporating associative and dissociative behaviour strategies into marathon training and race. Associative behaviours is a focus on the internal cues. This allows athletes to focus on their performances with specific cues. For example, leg turnover or cadence. How many times are my legs turning over in a minute? Are my feet striking the ground underneath my hips? Are my shoulders down, and do I have relaxed arms? Am I focusing on my breathing? Am I keeping it as regular as possible? Little cues like this help focus on completing the task. Dissociative behaviour focus more on the external cues, like running through Central Park in New York City, where thousands of people are out playing baseball on the fields or walking around the park. You're focused on them. It could be running through the beautiful Rocky Mountains, where all you do is think about how inferior you are to the mountains that seem to dwarf everything in sight. These environmental stimulus distract you from what you're actually doing. Associative behaviours have shown to increase in athletic performances. This is actually by completing the session in the required manner. This could be by completing it as a speed track session, hill repeat session, or slow long run. We can touch on this later in later slides. With associative behaviours, we see people paying attention to the details. You are now thinking about your body position. Just like before, you are paying attention to how you hold your arms, making sure that they are relaxed, not too stiff, but they also aren't swaying all over the place, causing your body to rock around and causing inefficiency. You are thinking about where your feet are landing, making sure that you are not overstriding. You are making sure that your feet are landing underneath your hips, not too far out in front, causing you to overstride. You are paying attention to speed and heart rate. Depending on the purpose of the session, you are making sure you're in the correct pacing zones and heart rate zones. Compare this to dissociative behaviours, which have seemed to relate to poorer objective performances. This can have the opposite effect to associative when it comes to performance for similar reasons. This can be due to not paying attention to the task at hand. This could be not completing the sessions as it is meant to be completed. Similar to what I just mentioned, it may be speed workout where you really need to pay attention to your speed to make sure you're hitting all of your top end markers. But in turn, you are too busy thinking about what you're going to have for dinner. Form tends to go out the window as well. This can have a massive impact to your training, as you could be unaware of how your technique is and possibly cause injury down the track due to repeat form. Putting in place dissociative strategy. Distracting athletes from the job at hand and making the task more enjoyable. Joining a weekly run group or run club. This can be where you achieve a more sociable running atmosphere. For so much of your weekly run sessions, you'll probably be doing them alone, as you have to fit them in around work, family, life, and other commitments you have going on. You are still being able to get the work done, even though you're out with a group of friends. Sometimes it's just being able to distract yourself from the volume of work that you're actually doing. Dissociative strategies indicate that running provides mood enhancement and overall physical benefits, regardless of whether the course travelled through a park or urban areas. So with this, instead of picking the same old route that you normally run, being that busy highway where you nearly get blown off your feet by a semi-trailer, or inhaling car exhaust fumes, or getting stopped at traffic lights every few blocks. This is all just because you feel you have to get the session done no matter what. But half the time you don't complete these sessions properly because you are unhappy and just not enjoying it. For these training runs that don't require you being super focused, pick a route, trail, or somewhere scenic that you enjoy simply running because it's fun and because how it makes you feel. Find that mountain or beach trail that every time you go there you forget about the time and you forget about that you're actually here to get the 30-kilometre trail run in. Listen to music while running. Listening to music while training has proven effective and beneficial. Music has also been able to activate prefrontal cortex, minimise perception and accelerate recovery. Listening to your music on long training runs, listen to your favourite artist, or even listen to the podcast while you're out on those long training days that don't require a lot of focus and you can really take your mind elsewhere and just make it more enjoyable. Really start to enjoy the fact that you're out running. You don't have to be hitting Ryan Hall marathon pace every time you set out the door. Just simply plug in the tunes and enjoy life. Too many things in life have us down, so just enjoy. Now for implementing associative behaviour strategies. Positive thoughts and feelings through hard training sessions. For these hard training sessions that have you been looking at in your training program all week, and you know that even though they are key and beneficial sessions, you are dreading them and not looking forward to that day in the week. Some of these sessions may include those hill repeats, speed track sessions. While a more associative behaviour and positive thought pattern, it has shown to help improve through the training sessions by really believing in yourself and believing that you can actually complete the session. Even throughout the session, when you get into that last hill repeat or that last 1k effort, your mind is the first thing to go. It will give up long before the body will. Think about positive thoughts. It could be the feeling you get when you cross the finish line at the end of the marathon. And remember how good that feeling is when you do. Knowing you put all the effort in and did everything you could do, like this session you just completed. Maybe it's thinking about family and friends, or the sacrifices that they make so you can get out the door at all hours to put in those long training sessions. Thinking about body cues and technique. As stated earlier when talking about body cues and awareness, it allows athletes to focus on performance-specific cues such as leg turnover. This could be how many times are my legs turning over in a minute? Are my feet striking the ground underneath my hips? Are my shoulders down and relaxed? Are also my arms nice and relaxed? Little cues like this help focus on the job at hand. Also, focusing on your breathing is another great cue, trying to keep it as regular as possible. As for the picture of the cliff diver, having strong body awareness, these divers are able to complete these amazing dives from such heights. Without having associative behaviour to internally focus on what they are doing and what they are training, they wouldn't be able to put their lives at risk. We can carry this over to running as well. Completing the required session as it's meant to be completed. Are you running a hard track session that requires focus on speed and leg turnover? If today's session is a track session, you'll be required to really focus on that speed that's needed to finish each interval. Also making sure that you're focused on your leg turnover or cadence, not just that casual jog in the park. Now you're running hill repeats that focus on leg and arm drive. Today's session may be hill repeats. So you need to think about the difference from earlier in the week speed track session to this session and what type of requirements are needed for today's session. You need to change form, focusing now not on speed, but focusing on leg and arm drive as you propel yourself up each hill repeat. Just having that slight forward lean into the hill as well. Or is today's run a long, slow run, which requires you to focus on form and not lifting your speed and heart rate too high? Long run days. With these sessions, you are required not to hit top end speed for most of the run. You will not be required to focus on strong arm and leg drive as you were on your hill repeats. Today's long, slow run requires you to focus on keeping track of your heart rate and speed so that it doesn't get pushed to higher and go into other training zones. This in turn could compromise the session that is being completed. In conclusion, having both associative and dissociative behaviours can contribute to James completing his training and finishing the marathon. By incorporating both behaviour styles into James's marathon plan, he's able to give himself the best possibility to not only just finish the marathon but enjoy himself, whether it's running those long runs to his favourite trails or it's his weekly run sessions with his training group. This in turn keeping him more engaged and more motivated and less injured. Thank you all for listening.